Okay. Well, let's just get started then. Um,
So,
so hey, it's nice to really meet you because we've never really talked in voice before. So that's
we
nice.
haven't.
So how are things with you?
Things have been things have been going good. I've been doing lives again. I had for like a couple months there. I took a break because of mental health reasons. And I was moving, and there was like a whole bunch of things going on. So I took a break to like step back from the community, and then I came back, and all of this information came out. So
Yeah, yeah, and obviously the information that I mean I shouldn't say obviously, but I'm pretty sure I know what information you're talking about, and that would be the information regarding trust but verify. The
yeah.
yeah. I,
Um,
it it's kind of weird to talk about, and especially with TikTok and using words that don't get us in trouble. So I'm going to
yeah,
struggle with
yeah.
that throughout this entire conversation. But yeah, there was some information that was came to light, and very very troubling information. Um, I
Indeed.
guess for
Because like I was a fan of his before this came out, and like I had stepped back, and when I came back this came out. I'm like, the moment I found out about it, I blocked him because I don't care how long ago it was, which is one of the excuses I know he's been using, is that he's like a changed person on all of this. I don't care how long ago it was. That
yeah,
is something that I don't agree with. It's disturbing information to find out about.
I would agree. In full disclosure, not a fan before, not a fan now, but needless to say, obviously shocked and disturbed by that information. And I guess we ought
And
to not beat around the bush too much here for people who don't know what we're talking about. Um, I do have the clip that was really the one that went really popular. I'm all set up. You mind if I play the clip just so everybody knows everybody's on the same
go
page
for
here?
it. Go
All
for it.
right, cool. And I did redact certain things for obvious reasons, and I'm not going to make it too big here, but here it is.
When you were an adult.
And I'm also not
Oh,
interested in turning.
shoot. I got to play from the
Something
beginning.
happened yesterday, so I want to briefly address it. So some people have been reposting information related to a criminal case from decades ago. Now, I took responsibility for my actions long ago, completed all the legal requirements, and I'm under no legal obligation anymore. I did everything I needed to do. So I'm not interested in hiding from my past.
Then state the crime you committed. Say that you had a Sean Combs party with a child under 14 when you were an adult.
And I'm also not interested in turning this platform into harassment, doxing, or mob behavior. So I spent a lot of years in therapy, recovery, accountability, work, and rebuilding my life and relationships.
You are not the victim. You were the abuser.
Okay. So everybody knows that is what we're talking about here today, and obviously the crime, very very bad crime. According to the statute, the individual had to be the victim had to be less than 14 years old. So that means the max age, according to the legal statute, would be 13 years old and 364 days. However, and I don't have hard evidence. I can't give you evidence of this, but I have been told that Trust indicated to some of his friends that the individual was 12 years old. So I don't have any hard evidence. I just have that word of mouth. But yeah, that is what happened, and that's what Ace and myself were so disturbed about. So
Exactly. The thing about this whole thing is he said he was 19. How the hell do you do something with somebody under the age of 14? I can personally I could understand a 17-year-old Would it be disturbing? Kind of. But that is still technically somebody you would have met in school. A person under the age of 14? Under the age of 14. How the hell did you even get in contact with them?
I don't have an answer for that, obviously. I don't know those details. But that is outrageous.
That is so fucking disturbing. Because he's like, well, I was 19. Okay.
Doesn't
and
really
what's your
help.
point? How the hell did you come in contact with this person?
I would like answers.
And then you start a TikTok where there are a bunch of children on the platform.
Yeah, and I know he asks, are you 18 years of age or older or whatever, right? Before each guest comes on. I know there's been people who he's talked to that are not 18, but they say they're 18. I think we know. Like,
When I do my debates, if they sound young, straight up, I ask what year they graduated. If they cannot tell me what year they graduated, I drop them.
Especially in a timely manner.
I will not talk to somebody who cannot tell me the year they graduated with a high-pitched voice.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good idea.
I try to keep children safe on this platform as well as myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we got the important details out of the way now. I was a little bit nervous about talking about those details just because it's like such a weird subject to talk about, you know? It's like such an awful thing, you know, to even just say the words. It just feels yucky to say the words, you know what I mean?
But this is such an important thing to bring to light because nobody's talking about it. People are not talking about it, and it should be talked about more.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, I think a lot of people are talking about it. In all fairness, I think the video made a pretty good impact across the communities he's involved in.
I know people are reposting it, but I've been in the server of his, and the amount of people that are still rallying behind him is disturbing, in my opinion.
There's a handful at least, yeah, and I would agree. I don't understand the individuals who are rallying behind him. I cannot understand that, and that's one of the things I really wanted to talk to you about. You decided I'm out. Like, fuck this shit, right?
Yeah, I was done.
Yeah, why do you think other people stuck around? What's going on there?
Like, so my thought process, like the way they're doing it, they're like, well, we've known him for a while, so it's harder for them to like cut ties with. And that's what I'm thinking is going on. Like, a bunch of the mods for his don't want to like cut him out. I know like a couple people that are in the server are like, I'm still trying to process this information. And like, I've seen a mixed reaction. I've seen some people leaving. I've seen some people that have known him for years, like in personal matters. Like, they're actually friends in real life that are having issues, like they're struggling with this information, and they're like, I don't know how I'm going to go about doing this. Like, should I cut ties or what's going to happen? But like, some of us that haven't known him as long, some of us it's very easy for us to cut him out. Cause like, again, I was watching him for a couple months before. People are still in his Discord. I am still in it, but the reasoning behind why I'm still in it is because I spy. I'm being a spy.
And I'm still in it, but nobody knows which user I am, and let's just keep that a quiet. Shh. But yes, to spy, because I wanna see what the hell's going on in there. And I can't.
Yeah.
It's like a car crash. Like I can't look away. It's so terrible.
Like, he's even stepped back from going live. Last thing I knew, he said, well, I'll be going live again soon. Right
hasn't
now
happened.
no, it hasn't. I know Volsey's been the one that's been popping up on the live thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen TBV, like, since this has came out, he's stepped back, but he's planning on going live again soon. Yeah,
I think that is his plan. Yeah. I hope he doesn't. I hope he quit.
He won't be. I can already tell you that because he started posting videos on YT again.
I did see that.
So
yeah.
he'll be back up and coming soon.
Yeah.
I do personally have him blocked. I know quite a few people that like I run in the same crowd with has him blocked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm really hoping that his, fan base just, is cut into thirds. You know what I mean?
I know.
And he can't make a significant comeback with a big audience. Although, and go ahead.
He's been like barred from certain circles. Like I know Joel Reed's Bible has blocked him out of any circle that runs around him as well. So that means Joel and Mezzo both did, because that's not something that a lot of us want to fuck with. We find it disturbing. Doesn't matter how old it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I kind of just say
I'm hoping that, so there, he posted a while back that Matt Dillahunty, an email, he took a screenshot, that he had, that Matt had emailed him, and he was like, hey, I'd like you to come on and co-host on The Line or whatever show he's on now. And I'm hoping that falls through. When I posted all of this information to Reddit, I also was like, hey, can someone tell Matt Dillahunty this? Because I have no way to contact the dude. I believe me, I looked and I tried, and I could not figure out how to get in contact with him. But somebody was able to, and or allegedly was able to. So hopefully that falls through, because that'd be big exposure, and I just don't think a person like that deserves it. A person who did something this awful.
Personally, like I run in a bunch of crowd. Like I run. Have you ever heard of the Decoy Project?
I have not. Sounds interesting already, though.
The Decoy Project they do it very legally, but their focus is to catch predators. And
I'm sold.
Being able to, like, I've watched them, and they do it legally, so they won't post any like personal information or any of that. And I watch their lives because they like, if it's information that they can't share, they'll have something over it so that way it can't be shared. But they do it legally. They have contact with FBI agents and stuff like that, so that way they can get people off the streets. And their latest catch was actually somebody that was on the back burner, and it was like a slow burn because they were working on getting him to cross state lines. Person finally crossed state lines and has been arrested. And those are the types of groups I run in. So TrustButVerify completely goes against a lot that I stand for, because like I stand for like children should be safe. I'm one of those that if I hear a child yell mom, I will be looking as well. I don't have children of my own, but it's like I gotta make sure the child is safe. That's the way I personally am. And to know he's done this, I can't support that.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I'm a father, and it's kind of interesting because we were at the park the other day, and there was a child that was in this like spinny thing. I'm not going to explain it, but uh, she was safe. Don't.
I know the
It was
spinny
okay.
thingy.
Yeah, she couldn't like get out of it, and it was like spinning like crazy, and she was calling out help, help, and I was like, do I do, like I want to help. I genuinely want to help, but I don't want to have the appearance of being a PDF file, right? And
Right.
like I just let one of the women I was with, I let her take care of it. She was a woman, the child was a girl. It's all good, right? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the optics are better. I mean, yes, women can still do really bad things, but like I don't know. But yeah, I still had that instinct. I wanted to help. I was like ready to run and help, but I was like, why don't you take that one? You know. So
Yeah, I get.
I see a lot of new people have joined. Should I replay the video just so everybody who joined has more context?
Yeah, go for it.
All right,
I
let's
feel
do
like
it.
you should just. I feel like you should just keep it up on screen, but like don't play it every time if you can do that. So that way, any new people
Oh,
joining know what we're talking about.
gotcha. I think I could do that.
Something happened yesterday, so I want to briefly address it. So some people have been reposting information related to a criminal case from decades ago. Now, I took responsibility for my actions long ago, completed all the legal requirements, and I'm under no legal obligation anymore. I did everything I needed to do. So I'm not interested in hiding from my past.
Then state the crime you committed. Say that you had a Sean Combs party with a child under 14 when you were an adult.
And I'm also not interested in turning this platform into harassment, doxing, or mob behavior. So I've spent a lot of years in therapy, recovery, accountability, work, and rebuilding my life and relationships.
You are not the victim. You were the abuser.
Oh, and I just got a warning that says your live is not eligible for recommendation and is restricted in search results because it contains unoriginal or reproduced content.
Oh, lovely.
So that's great.
Even though it's your video.
I mean, I guess technically that's his, like the bottom portion there. But like, come on, TikTok. Be better than that. So
How long is the restriction?
I think it's for the entire live, unfortunately.
Well,
So, I mean, well, we got 9 people here, so we can talk for a little bit more. I'm recording, and then maybe if we hit a little bit of a lull, we can restart it.
yeah, you can. It's always okay to restart. Um, Besides, you can download both of them and put them together if need be.
Yeah, of course. I'm actually recording, screen recording, so
Oh,
I've
that's
got it
good.
all. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah. So, one thing I wanted to do, sometime during our conversation here was invite VHS Baddie up. I just wanted her to say a few words because I've been communicating with her, and she's just about as passionate about this as probably you or I. You don't mind?
Absolutely not.
All right. Let's. How do I make that happen? I think that's how I make that happen. I got it.
She'd just have to accept it.
Cool. I'm assuming she's still here. Hopefully. But anyways, we can keep talking until that happens. So yeah, this. Well, you know what? One thing, a few things I wanted to. While our live is restricted and I If we restart, I won't be able to play unoriginal content. So why don't I just play this other unoriginal content, and we can react to it. Cool.
Only speak when I let you speak. Okay. So what you essentially said.
You don't do that, bro.
Yeah, I do that because you, like a lot of Christians that come into my live, you like boundaries. Okay. So
Boundaries and atheism.
yeah, you like boundaries. Actually, I do have another question for you, and this is actually for the safety of the people who are in this chat.
I just want to point out, like, this person does not sound very old. Just speculating there.
Doesn't at all. It sounds like he's not old enough to even drink yet. So
Yeah.
How often do ladies instinctively cover their drinks around you, since you lack boundaries? Okay, you can answer that question.
I don't drink, bro. I don't.
Yeah, that's not what I asked. So you got to listen. All right. So listen
he sounds
carefully.
like he's not even old enough to drink.
How often do ladies instinctively cover their drinks around you? How often does that happen? Okay, go ahead.
Never. Like, you're an atheist.
Never? Okay. So does that mean you're never around women? Is that what it is? Okay, you can answer.
His name's being TrustButVerify. He sure. Okay.
Yeah, like this is the trap. Just to explain it, he will ask, like, do ladies instinctively cover their drinks around you? If you say yes, well, you're a predator. How ironic, considering he is a convicted predator. But if they say no, then it's like, well, you're never around women and you're a loser. What an awful thing to do. Like, that is the worst. That's just the worst. Like, what? Anyways, I'll continue on the clip here.
So I have to be around women to put stuff on their drink. That's what you're.
Well, yeah, that's kind of how it works. So when you sneak something into their drinks,
So that's how the atheist.
Okay, so I'm not finished talking. So when you sneak something
That's
into
the
their
atheist
when you
mindset,
sneak something
right?
into their drinks. Well, see, the thing is that you lack boundaries because you're trying to speak out of turn, and you've already been told you're on probation and you're not listening. So that means
I don't care.
that means you lack boundaries, right? So essentially,
bro.
so what I'm asking you is, do ladies
Atheists are the-
instinctively cover their drinks?
So he's equating rudeness and interrupting with being a predator, basically. He's like, since you lack boundaries and you're interrupting me, that means you're a predator. Those two things don't really equate. Like, someone can be a jerk and interrupt someone when they're speaking. That's mildly common behavior. Being a predator is not mildly common. It's awful. It's disgusting. It's nothing like interrupting someone. It is not even in the same category at all. Not even close.
It's not. I do debates as well. And I can't tell you how many times I do get interrupted. It's a consistent thing when you do debates because, like, some people, their brain, the moment they think something, they have to say it. And you have to, like, adjust yourself. If you're going to do debates, you've got to adjust it to where you can be respectful instead of just naturally assuming that because they're not able to always hold their tongue, that automatically women cover their drinks.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't even sound old enough to be at a bar.
Yeah.
In my opinion. He's still got that high-pitched voice.
He's young. All right, I don't know what's left in this clip, but I'll keep playing it.
Around you, and how often does that happen? But you said nobody does, so that would only mean that you're never around ladies, and that shows. That tracks. That's true.
I don't drink with.
That sounds true to me. So again, I'm not finished. I'm not finished talking. So that really tracks. Okay.
Because in a normal debate, if I accuse you of being dangerous, I have to prove it.
Exactly. Here, the accusation is just...
All right. We won't play the rest of that. We don't need to.
The thing about the thing I'm having issues with, first of all, fucking awful to connect those two. Like, the name Trust But Verify, if you're going to say something and the person responds and then jump to a conclusion without the evidence behind the conclusion, then the whole Trust But Verify thing kind of sounds finicky.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like a slogan without actually believing it, you know? It kind of like, I don't know, maybe he wants people to trust him, but the same doesn't apply to anyone else. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not sure I even understand the name, quite frankly. Like, his specialty is debating Christians, right? Does he trust the Christians? He seems to be more of just butting heads with them and not trusting them. I don't know.
I don't know exactly where the name came from. I will say I wasn't around long enough to actually know where the name came from. But, like, I know for a while there he said he had his timer set for 20 because they would annoy him so much, and then he got it up to 30 because he took, I think it was anger management classes. I don't remember exactly what he said.
Wow. That's something.
I don't quote me on that, but I don't remember.
It's a common phrase, trust science, but verify it. That's what Aaron says. Okay, I guess. The way I'm familiar with it is it's a old military thing. Like, trust the information that your comrades are giving you, but verify its legitimacy. I think that was like an old Reagan thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. And just to answer forever questions, are you guys atheists? I am, and I believe Ace is as well, right?
I'm a polytheist.
Oh, never mind then. Out of curiosity,
okay.
what do you typically debate on your lives?
I debate, is your God good? It brings some interesting characters into my lives. When I say interesting, I mean I post the videos on YT, like the debate clips. I do a compilation where like you can hear the whole thing, and I've had one tell me that they thought the transatlantic slave trade was a good thing. That's in the latest video. That's not even discussing the person who said that they would sacrifice their own family to their God. I get some really intense guests. It definitely gets wild, but yeah, I do Is Your God Good? I won't do Is Your God Real? Because I don't feel like it's my job to debate the legitimacy of somebody else's God.
Okay. You'd rather talk about the kind of the morals?
Yes, the morality of it.
Cool. I like that. Okay. I have one more clip. One last clip. Might as well watch it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Where is it? There it is. I didn't accidentally mute you, did I?
No, you didn't.
No, I
I'm
didn't.
still
Okay.
I'm still available.
All right, I got to keep this one a little small because there's naughty words in the text. But hopefully people might be able to read it.
This threat being made in the TrustButVerify Discord server. Notice the user profile picture. It is pseudo v-science. TrustButVerify.
So just to give a little bit of what's the right word? Overview without
Context.
using any words that will get us in trouble. The previous what was on screen was like hey, I'm gonna go somewhere that you are also located, and yeah, I'm gonna like surprise you. Um, that was what was being said. So just so everybody knows.
I was in the disco for it, but I never actually spoke in it.
Gotcha.
I was aware of this threat by pseudo V Science as he was notified in a ticket and responded by what you see here. Then he says this a few hours later.
So, but we have pseudo V Science who is on the YouTube side, just holding it down, on the other side. So thank you for that, pseudo V Science. I appreciate you.
So that was an interesting one. The guy who was making a very clear and obvious threat. Hours later, he's just like praising him, loving him up. That's
Even though in the thing he straight up said like there's nothing he could do about it considering he exited the disco. And I know there was a ticket done and the responses to it were awful, to say the least.
yeah. It was basically like, it's not that big of a deal. We can't do anything. Oh well. I mean, you could at least like not have him be your YouTube mod anymore. You could have not let him in the very next day when he rejoined.
It wasn't even the very next day. It was like after that live that he was back in the server.
Nice. Obviously, he didn't care. That was not any of Trust's concern. No concern at all. That's okay. No big deal.
So the thing is, as I'm in his server, like I've been scrolling through it, and I have seen where he's not very active in his own server.
That's true.
It's his mods doing everything.
Mostly. And he's just kind of rubber stamping every single action. But this one, he was specifically made aware of exactly what happened. So he doesn't really have that to fall back on. Not this time,
No.
anyway.
It's one of those situations where it's like you're looking at the situation from an outside perspective, and it doesn't matter how mad another person is, that is not something that is okay to do. Like, debates happen. A lot of us run in the same in a debate atmosphere. And in the debate atmosphere, some people, they do really good and they're able to get loud and stuff like that. And sometimes we like that. But others, it's like we learn how to keep our head cool. But one thing that we don't cross is threatening to show up at another person's location. Like personally, my debate style is to be as cool, calm, and collected as I can be. So, but I don't raise my voice. Can I get a little derogatory sometimes? Yes. But do they deserve it? Also, yes. Because they say some gross things. Or they do this thing where, like, they'll cut me off multiple times, but I'll have, like, somebody else up on the panel, and it'll be, like, a man up on the panel, and the moment they start talking, that person just shuts up. And, like, you see the difference as, like, women debaters, we have to do different things in order to get, in order to have a conversation than some men debaters might have to. And to watch this and be like, so TrustButVerify was somebody that, like, I liked the way he did things with, like, the countdown, like, the timer, and the way he normally was able to keep his cool. And like there's certain things about it that I quite enjoyed watching. But then there's certain things that it was like, well, wait a minute. This explain like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like I know we all have like that least favorite person that'll come around and completely be problematic. There's a bunch of those. We like there's a couple of Christians that vary each live and they'll have problems answering questions, or they want to run the same argument even if it's not that type of live, where you're like, with me, I don't do is your God real, it's is your God good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have some that try to vary and go, well, my God's real. That's not my question. My question is your God good? And like, I have a couple preliminary questions because I ask, like, are you over 18? If they sound younger than 18, then of course I ask, what year did you graduate? I ask for pronouns because a lot of good faith conversation comes with people who will actually be willing to answer the pronouns question. Sometimes it causes some hellified crash outs. But most of the time, like, people will answer it and it leads to, some of them leads to a very good conversation. Others not so much. But normally, if they're not willing to answer it, it never goes anywhere. It's never a good conversation.
Gotcha.
And then
Yeah.
obviously, like I ask, do you believe in a God? Because I have some people that will come up and they don't believe in a God, or they're like deist, or like whatever it may be. I don't specifically focus on one specific belief system because I want a variety. And I do get a variety. And like, then I ask which one, which some of them have a problem answering that question. I've had a couple runarounds with that one. But like, there's preliminary questions before I even think about setting the timer.
Yeah.
Because they're preliminary for a reason. This is the information I want before we get into the conversation. And then I set a timer. Normally it's a 30-minute timer. Sometimes I set them for less because of the fact that, like, you can hear the derogatory in some of their tones. And if you ever go, like, watch back some of the lives, you can hear it. But
Well, it sounds like I got to start watching your lives because you sold me.
I'm not trying to, like, cause anybody to want to watch my lives. Honestly, I do them because I want to get people to start thinking. Like, well, you know how some are like, well, yeah, my God's all good. I want them to start thinking, and then I have people from, like, other faiths listening in, and, like, it's not to get somebody to deconstruct from the faith. I just want them to start thinking about it. And
I like
like
that.
because who am I to decide that you shouldn't have faith in this person that has helped you that you feel has helped you get through so much?
And not only who are you to decide, you actually can't. The only way that somebody can change their mind is if they change it themselves. That's the only possible way. I like that. Yeah. I have to ask: Are you familiar with any of my content, or not so much?
Like on this, or like your main?
Yeah, like my main YouTube channel.
No, I haven't watched it yet, but if you tell me what it is, I can look into it.
Yeah, I'll send you a link later. I think you'd like a lot of content on it. I think our styles are very, very similar. At least from what I've been hearing you describe. So, yeah, it's very cool. Very cool. One question I wanted to ask you, I mean, aside from if you were familiar with that content, in TrustButVerify's Discord server, several times I was outed as like enemy number one. You know, I was like the bad person. When you were seeing that rundown, or at least as much as you saw, what were your thoughts on that? Did you think I was the evil bad person?
I never think anybody is evil or bad until like I get to see it for myself. No, originally I thought you would just like this account was just a troll account because like I didn't initially know who like had created it or any of that. And like I didn't watch the videos. I wasn't paying attention to it. I thought you were just a troll account. And then like you came out with the information on Trust But Verify and I'm like, huh. Interesting. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, it may have started out as a troll account. And like you're trying to expose some of the things he did. Or some of the things like in the server and some of the things that was ongoing. But then you came out with this information and I was like, well, hi Elizabeth.
Hi Ace, how are you?
I'm terrified.
Why?
Because I don't know how many people have actually spoken out on the information, and being a smaller channel terrifies me.
Being truthful, if people are mean to you for being truthful, then they are the issue, not you.
Fair enough.
I agree with that.
Being on the younger side and being like newer to the debate community, one of the things they like doing is attacking my age or the knowledge I have. So coming up and like giving this interview and completely being honest about my feelings about it, a lot of things scare me about how people are going to react. But at the same time, I have like a support system behind me that is like, yeah, absolutely. The people who despise you for it don't need to be in your area, in like your community anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of just came up here because I know, if you're aware, host, my name's Sailor. On the Discords, I'm mostly in Deconstructed Chaos. I'm in Ace's Discord, and I am in Loeb's Discord. I was wondering if you could perhaps give some feedback how you felt that that was handled.
Yeah, that it was interesting being in those servers. I got kicked out of banned from Loeb's server. That was interesting doing that, because I know Loeb's did a thing with TrustButVerify like one time before the info came out. They like created a new TikTok account and they were gonna do a dual debate type show, and so I initially reached out to Loeb's, sent him a message with the information, didn't hear back from him. So I was like, okay, did he actually see it? Like, I don't know how to use TikTok. I don't know, like, did it go in a spam folder or whatever? So then I joined his Discord, and I posted the information, including without the blacked out info, or it had his name. Let's just put it that way, because I didn't want to hide that information because it makes it like less trustworthy. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know if it's real or not, if there's redactions. So I posted that, and then it got deleted. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I can't do that. It sounds like he's just taking Trust's side and providing cover for him. At least that's what I think, because there's no communication. And then some time goes on, and I see other people, like, somebody else brought it up. So I was just like, okay, well, I'll post the same thing but without the name, right? And then it got some traction, and there was people talking about it, and at least like one person who was, if I remember correctly, I'm sometimes it blurs together a little bit, all these online interactions, but I think one person was defending him, and eventually like it evolved into this massive chain of a conversation, and I got banned at some point. I guess from talking about it too much, maybe. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm sorry. Was that the question? Did I just go on a weird tangent?
No, no. You're answering my question.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Damien,
you-
you'd be surprised.
I think you maybe. I think people, because you're using the profile picture and it looks a bit like Trust, people jump to the conclusion that you were doing it just to stir beef and you didn't really care about the victim. That seems to be like some people's opinions. I personally took the information. I don't care if it came from any, as long as you showed receipts. So, and I was like, okay, this is unforgivable in my book. So I unfollowed him, and I encourage people to speak up about it before it gets to this stage. But I think, I don't know, maybe people are just not used to dealing with these kind of issues. I'm in a field where this kind of stuff is like, I get trained for it, and it's pretty much the way we tackle it is open communication, or that's the most ideal way to handle these kind of issues, that when you have a predator amongst you, that all departments communicate between each other and take the information that has evidence as fact and act on it swiftly. And I would say a lot of us did fail at that.
Yeah, that's fair. Just to be open about when I created that account with his logo and basically kind of ripping off his name. My kind of goal, that was right around the same time as his mod had threatened me. So it was a few days after, because I was like, the first few days I was a little bit freaked out. But I once I came around and I was like, okay, nothing's gonna happen. I created the account and I was just like, you know what? I want people who are searching them up to see this one and accidentally click on it. That's the honest truth of the matter. I put a big red thumbs down in the middle of it to make it like kind of clear, and then in the description I was like, hey, this is a critique account. I'm not actually him, whatever. And if you watched any of the clips that were posted, like, it was pretty obvious that I was not him. But like, I don't think I was ever really a troll. I mean, it depends what you mean by troll. Like, I think all of the clips really were, what's the right word? Like,
They were of him in some way, or like critiquing him in some way.
right.
But the trolley part came with like the name and then the profile picture.
All right.
Initially I thought it was like just a troll account. And then like I started looking into it. Like the more I was looking into it, I remembered like the threat getting made, and then I saw like the ticket, because we're not privy to the ticket information, and like I don't think that situation was handled correctly at all. Like,
Yeah.
he threatened to surprise you
What,
in
Trust
person.
Trusted that. He said that.
He didn't say that. One of his YouTube mod said
guy,
it in his
yeah.
Discord, and he failed to do anything about it. He kept him as a YouTube mod, praised him hours later, let him back into the Discord. Basically, nothing was done.
Yeah, nothing was done about it. The only thing that was done was the mod had left the server for a couple of hours. And then the moment he requested to come back in, he was allowed back in.
Yeesh.
So absolutely nothing was done about it. I was around for that. I wasn't privy to the ticket information until I saw the video. And then when I saw the video, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's bad. That's enabling the predator. I'm sorry. It's simple as simple does. I know the person is your friend and there's like emotional connection in some way, but this is just enabling a predator, to be honest.
Elizabeth, you know how, like, in debates it can get very heated?
Yeah.
We have lines we won't cross, right?
Yeah.
One of those lines would be threatening somebody.
Yeah.
Him and the mod were in a debate. They were in a debate in one of the debate sections that TBV has in his server. And during the whole thing, like, they were debating. They were having a back and forth, and then the mod got really pissed off and threatened to surprise him in person.
Those are basically the exact words.
And he opened up a ticket, and when he opened up the ticket, one of the disco mods didn't say anything about the one mod, but said something to him and said, well, you deserved it.
Oh my gosh. Guys.
And I don't think I was even provoking him, in all honesty.
No,
I don't remember exactly what we were even debating, but I was pretty chill, quite frankly.
That's mad. No, and this is kind of why, even in my own personal life, I'm kind of staring away from hard-nosed atheists, because it's getting so bad. They kind of remind me of like Christian zealots.
Sometimes.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing like a cloistered way of like protecting someone just because they have the same views as you. And I don't like that.
No, absolutely not. Like, I'm a polytheist, and in some spaces that I enter, I'm personally not allowed because they're anti-theist, not atheist.
Yeah, I don't like anti-theists. I think that's silly. But getting back to defending people because they share the same views as you, I think that was kind of a bingo moment right there. I think
Indeed.
the people who still support him, I think that's a big factor in why they still support him, because they see him as this force for good. It's like, you believe in the same thing I believe, and you don't like the same people I don't like, therefore you're awesome. But it's like, he did such a freaking terrible thing. Like, how can you ever even look at someone the same way after learning that information?
I know some people, he's been downplaying it. That's the whole thing. He's not telling anybody that the child was under 14. He said the child's underage. All he was saying was that the child was a minor.
So to answer the live chat here, I got the information. This is what you need to do. One of the websites was taken down. I believe he requested the information to be taken down or something, and they actually removed it. That was this one. This this screenshot up above my head right there. That web page got removed after I exposed it, right? And there is another website that is still up. It doesn't have his picture, but it does have his name. What you need to do, you can go to Google, type in TrustButVerify Atheist Reddit, and maybe even throw the PDF, but not actually PDF. You know what I mean? Throw that on the Google search, and my Reddit post will come up, and that will give you all the information you need. There's even a screenshot of a conversation he was having. All the information's right there. So there's no federal page with his information. He admitted to it. It doesn't matter. He admitted to it. Watch. You don't. We're playing the video. Damn it.
I mean, you're already
happened yesterday, so I want to briefly address it. So some people have been reposting information related to a criminal case from decades ago. Now, I took responsibility for my actions long ago.
See? We don't need to have this conversation. We don't need to have this debate. He admitted to it. It doesn't matter.
I hated when he said that. As soon as when he said, I've had this discussion, it happened over this certain amount. This is a kind of thing. It's not like stealing a watch when you're a teenager. This is a S crime against a minor for flip's sake. It's not something that you just pass through the passage of time. This is really important, and one of the people I share a lot of talking with, she just, for me, hit the nail on the head. If he knew that this was so bad, why did he become a public figure and hide it? And that's the issue. If he had been open about it from day one, perhaps it would be different. But because it was held and there's this idea that you can just not be a ped, I just don't believe that. I just don't. And we talk so much about this in this community, about not picking out certain bits of the Bible and cherry picking. And there's people in this Discord servers that were saying, and I reprimanded them for it, but saying, oh, well, this happened years ago, move on, blood did this. And it's just like, you will be the same people telling the Christians that they can't pick and choose and cherry pick from the Bible, yet you're cherry picking from one individual man's case. You're saying, oh, well, look at all the good things he's done. Just ignore the fact that he did that to a child. And I cannot stress this enough. 12 is Barbie playing age.
one of the things is like we don't accept when they go, well, it was in those times. It was during that time period. We won't accept that. Because I know, like, when I bring up certain verses, I won't accept, well, it was that time period, because it's in the book. It's happened. Why are we accepting well, it was this many years ago? The Bible was created a while ago. This man's still on this earth. How are we letting it go? How are we letting that excuse determine anything?
Yeah. I completely agree. That was really well said.
Yeah. Hypocrite. That's all I have to say. Really. He was also essay young age, no excuse. Yeah, well, I mean, this is very, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I know you're not saying it's an excuse, but it is things like trauma does get passed down. But if he cared so much about trauma, he would be upfront about it. Like my anonymous friend says, he would have, if he wanted to become a public figure, he'd be like, day one, I was in this headspace when I was young. I did this thing. It's bad. I'll never make up for it, but I want to be open and honest with you guys. And he wasn't. And instead, he was a hypocrite. And I'm pretty sure I've heard him talk about Aisha.
My whole thing is, he may have said it on his live. He may have said something in his server. But what has he never done? Nowhere on his page is there a video of him addressing it.
Yeah.
He said it in his live, and he quickly brushed over it. He said it in the server, and he very quickly brushed over it, but he never made a video on it.
Just to answer the question here in the chat, is he aware of your account? Yes. Have you talked to him, confronting him? I'm not sure exactly what that means. Like, I've interacted with him in the past. Have I confronted him about this in particular? Sort of, yes. I did send him a message. He did respond. The screenshot is it's on that Reddit post if you're curious.
What is your Reddit account, so that way like some people can look it up on the actual like Reddit?
I don't remember. I can look it up real quick. Like, I just created it to post that. I'll look it up real quick.
Is it Nervous Painter?
Yeah. It's nervous-painter-584. And that post has just like everything. I just kept adding to it as I found new information.
Just for those.
I wish I could make
If you
that
want to
bigger.
make me big, can you not?
Expand.
If you click on it, you should be able to
There,
expand
yep.
it. Yeah. And it comes with links.
Yep. And unfortunately, the first one has been taken down. I believe he contacted the website and somehow convinced them to remove it. I don't know why they did that, but there you have it. But the other link is still up, so that's good. Hey, Lady Huggy, good to see you here. How are you doing?
Not good, I'm up, but I'm up.
Wait, you're up here? That's you? What? No.
No.
You're Elizabeth.
She means
I'm
that
sorry.
I'm up
Yeah,
super early in the UK time.
Oh gosh, what time is it there?
3 a.m.
How? How are you awake?
I'm a night owl.
Oh, okay. I got you. I hear you.
I worked in nightclubs and bars for a lot of my life, so
Ah, got you.
that's into the dark, yeah. But yeah. And I think this is an important conversation because this stuff it's probably gonna happen again, and I hope there is some way to improve how we act. I do some of the moderation on one of the discords. You came into deconstructing chaos, didn't you?
Yes, I
You
did.
said so, yeah. So I just want to know, I don't know what. I want to apologize if it came off like people were swarming you. I think there was an assumption made that I never made, and I was like kind of uncomfortable making that you were butthurt Christian, and that and I don't like people saying that. I think it doesn't matter, even if you were. I think so fucking what? And
Right.
that that kind of disappointed me in people.
Yeah, that kind of sucks when that happens, when somebody makes an assumption about your motivation and about who you are, your identity.
Yeah.
That sucks. But, I gotta say, I'm kind of used to it. Like, that happens a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm glad we cleared it up.
I am glad to. Because I know like you're in my server now as well.
Hmm.
I haven't given you a nickname yet because I don't know you very well. And obviously you see the nicknames floating around. Um, but the moment you had put out the information that we have been talking about, yeah. The information that you have been putting out, when you put it out, I'm like, okay, this person is really trying to like do something. And that's like, initially I didn't even know you had messaged me until I had checked my message request, because I don't normally check my message request because I get a bunch of creepy things in my DMs.
As a woman, I would imagine, and I'm sorry for all the men who do that.
Can't control that, honestly.
Yeah, I know.
But that's when I was willing to open communication with you, because I'm like, okay, I know like why it was started. I may not agree with the name or the profile picture, but you were trying to do something about like something that was terrible. And I respect that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you seeing through some of the. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know what word to use, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
I like
Oppo,
making my own judgment on people.
yeah, that's important. Don't just dogpile people. Um, can we address what Oppo's
Yeah,
asking in the?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there were some videos regarding race and LGBTQ issues that I had made. The one regarding race, so Trust's position is that black people cannot be racist. I think that is with a very, very, very specific and niche definition of racism. I think that you can make the argument that that is true. However, I think that's, like I said, that's a very niche definition. And I think broadly speaking, with how we as humans and people and culture tend to use the word racism, I think, and how we define it as overall as a people, how most people use the word, I think that black people can be racist, and that was I think pushing that niche definition as if it's universal, and there's no nuance. There's no, well, I'm using this word this way, but you're using that word that way, and that's okay. I think doing that creates harm. I think it makes people just butt heads, and I think it's a horrible thing. So that's why I made that content, just because I was pretty passionate about it. Um, yeah. Um, Regarding the second half of the LGBTQ issues, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about specifically. It might have been some of the false claims that that Ember was making, perhaps, that I kind of did some fact checking on. I don't remember, what was it? Oh, I think it was one of her claims was that a certain state had banned trans people from all bathrooms. And I did some digging. I found the exact statute, I think you could call it, and looked it up, and that was not really the case. It was that they had to go with, they could only use the bathroom, or everybody in that state of the proposed law. I don't know if it made it into law. I think it was a bill at the time. That they could only go to the bathroom as of their assigned sex at birth. So they were not banned from every single bathroom, like she had claimed. So that was just me fact checking. If that's the one you're talking about.
I've got no clue. I'm going just by what you're saying in the comments. To address your first one, obviously I'm black. Although I do think black people can 1000% be ignorant and say racist things, I find it really hard to see how we can be racist, because to be racist is to uphold a system, a hierarchy, in which black people just do not inherently live in. Like, we don't live in any kind of
People can't be systematically racist, but they can be prejudiced.
yeah, because that's part of racism, is like the systematic part of it. We can't really stop people from getting jobs if we're being racist. We don't have a history of lynching people. Sorry, I don't know if that's, yeah, but that's
Can I
why
re-
I find that hard. But I can definitely understand you saying that we can say like obvious, anyone can say racist things. Yeah.
Can I repeat back something that I heard? And I think it's something that we might both agree with. So I think what you said was like, black people cannot be systematically racist. Like that's not a possibility. And I think I would agree with that. I think I'm on board with you there for the most part. I mean, maybe in some other country, I don't know. But let's not focus on that. Mostly, we're on the same page there. And then I think the other thing you're saying, and I'm kind of using my own words here, like you're saying like black people might be able to be like individually racist outside of like a system. Is that something you would agree with?
Yeah.
We're totally on the same page. We agree.
Yeah.
We're cool. And the thing is, like, trust but verify, we couldn't get to that point. He just wanted to be like, no, you're wrong, man. You're wrong. And it's like, dude, like, we agree. We're just squabbling over a definition. Like, what the heck is going on here?
Vexora is making it. So do you mean like against white people or other minorities usually, or all, or who are the black people being racist to?
I'm glad we got through that, though. What is your name, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
That was lovely. I'm glad we figured that out. We figured that out in like 5 minutes, and me and the whole Trust But Verify server, we couldn't figure that out in, I don't know, months. So, hey, we did it.
I
I'm happy.
experienced many different types of prejudice.
I've literally seen some people like pull their eyes up at the side, like from my background, and I would count that as being racist. I don't see that as prejudice. That is racist. But maybe where I just cannot, and then maybe trust was on this thing, thinking of black to white relations, it's really hard for me to visualize how a black person in the West can be effectively racist against a white person in the West. I just, yeah, I would have to have like an example outside of myself to see that. But to
Like,
deny hatred is just ridiculous because it happens. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, like, you're talking about like within that system, but individually, you could probably imagine it, right?
Hmm. Mm, it would have to be like really special scenarios that I've never like witnessed or read about. Like
What?
I've personally never read about like a group of black people painting their face white and going to some white person's house and like egging them or like bullying them in school like I went through, for instance. Like I got a lot of shit about my hair texture. I've never really seen a group of black people like go up to a white person and was like, your hair's bare greasy, or, and constantly said it like in the way that I went through it, and the shoes on the other foot. So, and I've never read about it because obviously anecdotal,
Hmm.
but definitely, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to see like some kind of cases,
Yeah.
if you found any that are like that, and then I would definitely concede. But from my experience and from reading, I just don't see that happening.
I hear you. I hear you. I don't have anything offhand, but I'm thinking of a potential. And I'm sorry you went through that. That's racism is it's not something anyone should go through. So I'm really sorry you had to go through that. Um, but the this hypothetical I'm thinking in my head is like during COVID-19 there was a lot of Asian hate, right? That was kind of a big thing that was happening. I mean, could you imagine people who are not white engaging in that Asian hate during that time period?
I know there was a case in New York or something like that, but again, like the stats on that was mostly white on Asian that created like did the bigger
Yeah,
amount of racism
perhaps.
towards them.
You
And
couldn't
to be
imagine.
honest, like
I mean,
yeah, go on.
you couldn't imagine a non-white person engaging in some of that behavior. Like, is that possible?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I literally told you
Okay.
like I've seen like black people maybe more in Africa to be honest, see like a Chinese person and like do up their eyes and that kind
Mm,
of stuff. And
yeah.
I would find it extremely horrible if a Chinese person came to Africa and painted black, or I mean some of them have actually done some crazy shit in Africa as well. But either way is wrong. That's wrong. You just don't do that kind of shit and it is racist. It's not prejudice. Like any kind of trope, any yellow face, black face, is it is just racism. That's not prejudice. That's racism. But as far as I understand what happened in COVID, most of that is white community on the Asian community.
And just to respond to Oppo here, um, so he's saying bigotry, yes, and I think it's regards to what we were just speaking about. Racism is a specific word. This is kind of the niche definition I was kind of talking about. Some people define racism very, very narrowly. I don't think that is super common outside very specific academic fields. I think more broadly, the average person does not define racism that super, super, super broad, super narrow. I think they have a much more broad definition. And when I say broad, I mean they include any bigotry that is based upon race. And that's how they define uh, racism typically. That's what I found. That's what I found asking people. Um, yeah. then the average person should educate themselves like a good member of society. I see where you're coming from, and I understand that, but based on how language evolves and how language is used, we go off definitions that are the most commonly used. So if someone says that this is a pencil, then we call it a pencil. If most people call it a pencil. If most people call it a pen, then we call it a pen. It really doesn't matter if an expert says this is a pencil. Nobody's really going to care because we all call it a pen. That's ultimately we're just talking about words right now. We're talking about definitions. I think we're all kind of on the same page. You know, bigotry sucks. Don't be a bigot. Treat everybody with well, maybe not everybody, all except for, you know, maybe P, D, Fs. You know, maybe not treat them with respect, but generally speaking, be respectful. Don't be a bigot. We're all on the same page here. We don't have to quabble about definitions.
No, and I do agree with you. There is definitely like a social racism, and then there's a individual racism, which I think, yeah, it can go for anyone, but whatever, that's fine. The great thing about this world is we should be able to coexist with different ideas of things, as long as our ideas aren't the ending of some people group or taking the rights away from other people. We should be able to talk, disagree, and find some kind of bridge. Not everyone has to think in this uniformity. And I think I see it in the atheist community. I see a certain uniformity of how we should all think as non-religious people, and I don't agree. And yeah. Anyway, the second thing, I think it's worth that if we make statements, that we should, one, make sure that they are accurate, and two, if someone else comes with more accurate information, we check them, and if we were wrong, we are wrong, and that's okay. Just say you're wrong and move on. It shouldn't cause a nuclear fallout. It's actually ridiculous, and I am so disappointed in adults for acting like that. If that's the case, if she probably just said it in a way, because I can imagine her turning the all trans people aren't allowed to use a toilet. But if you think about that sentence, that makes no sense. Like, how are they meant to police that? But it is very different to say that you have to use a toilet that your birth sex was, basically your birth gender. But I think that is like just a wider community problem and just people problem of when somebody else comes back and tries to correct us, we react out of emotion instead of, oh, like, it's wrong. I don't know, what am I saying, Vexrora? That's incorrect. If what she said wasn't the correct information, it's not the correct information.
So, I agree with everything that you just said. We're on the same page. I do want to address what Opal is saying here in the chat. This is unusual. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of scrolling up. So now we excuse racism and bigotry. LOL. I think that's a response to what I said. I think, and I don't know where that's coming from. No, that's not what I said at all. So I don't know. I'm very confused about that. Your videos state that racism does not equal systematic racism. You just lied in the live. No, I see racism as a relatively broad term. I see systematic racism as a little bit narrower. It's a type of racism, a very specific type of racism. Um, so, Opal, if you want to request up, we'll talk about it, but I'm probably not going to engage any further like this because I don't see it as productive. If you want to come up and talk, we can come up and talk, but like, I don't know. Like, I think you're misunderstanding me quite significantly. And I apologize. Maybe I'm not explaining myself well, but this is what I would talk about if I'm on the panel. Oh, okay. I mean, actually, I'm gonna check in with Ace. Should we talk about this further, or do you wanna keep talking about the subject of the live?
The whole TrustButVerify situation.
Yeah.
I feel like we've pretty much covered it, and we've said all we could say about the subject.
Okay.
So if either one of the two that would like to come up, so that way they could have a conversation with you, wants to come up, that would be, I think, extremely beneficial for you.
Cool.
At the same time, they can get a better understanding of like what you're talking about.
Cool. So first, I'm going to talk to VHS Baddie because she came back, and that's awesome. And yeah, then Oppo, if you want to come up, that'd be cool. So what's up? You're back.
Hello. Hi, friendly people. Yeah, so I have kitties, so I have to go in and out sometimes.
Yeah, no worries.
I just wanted
Understand.
to say, like, I'm an outsider. I don't know a lot of these groups or people, but um, I wanted to say I really appreciate you because it takes a lot of guts to do what you did, first of all. And second of all, I think we're just reaching a problem in our society where people don't want to talk about this. It's understandable because it's uncomfortable and it's not nice. But like I said, I've got children. Like anyone who loves kids or has their own or looks after kids, you have to know this about people. And you also, like, it's ironic his name is Trust But Verify because that's what a lot of people have to do if they put their kids in daycare, for example. You trust if I leave my kids with someone that they're going to be good to my children. And I just love what people like you do because, if people want to keep being his friends, that's up to them. That's not my life. If you want to be friends with him, go for it. But my life involves kids. And so I want to know if someone has a history hurting children. I want to know that. And I also want to share that with the community. And I don't really care if that makes him uncomfortable or threatens his living or doesn't put him in a good light. I don't care if he did his therapy 20 years ago. I don't care if he's moved on and he's had a nice little quiet period where he could forget that that happened, or maybe, jail or whatever. Maybe that wasn't a good time for him. But that's not my problem because, yeah, we just gotta keep sharing this information just so I know, okay, that's not a person I want to be around. So just like Ace, I can block those kind of people and move on. And if people want to keep being his friend, YOLO, be his friend if that's what you want. But what I want and what I want for my kids, that involves a community where he's not in it. So thank you so much to you and also to people like Ace. It takes a lot of guts to just draw a line in the sand and say, look, I might be a mod or I might have powers or I might make a living from this, but I'm going to draw a line and just say I don't want people like that in my circle. And I really applaud you too for having this discussion and yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for talking about it. and just getting the bigger picture out there. We need to know people's histories. And if they're upset about that, how about we just act better so we don't have horrible histories like this to cover up?
Right on. Thank you very much. And yeah, kudos to Ace. You're awesome.
I appreciate that. I will say I was absolutely terrified when I initially got the request to come up and do this with him.
You didn't seem like it.
I'm very good at masking it. Living in a very shitty situation, you learn how to mask a lot of emotions. But when I initially got asked, I was like really terrified about how other people were going to react, and then I realized, look, I don't really care how other people are going to react to this. If people react badly to the fact that I am willing to speak out on it, then I don't need them to be around me. Because, like, I'm giving my input in on a serious situation.
Right on. Thank you for your bravery. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ace. Thank you, TBV 2.0.
Oh no. No, we can.
What should we call you?
You can call me Pierce.
To change it, buddy.
Thank you, Pierce. Thank you, Ace.
That's much better.
Well, a lot of us only knew you as what this account was.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That has been my identity here.
At this point, I feel like you should change it so that way we know what to call you.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I should. All right, Oppo. This is your chance. If you want to pop up here, we can have this conversation. If he's still here, I assume so. Is there a way for me to know? I don't think there's a way for me to know.
Doesn't look like Oppo is still here, but I know Vexora. Ignore the random R rolls. I do it. I know Vexora is still here.
Okay. Well, if
I know Vexora wants to stay down in the comments for the written record of what's being said by her or them. I apologize if I misgender. So with that one, you might want to speak to the comments with them.
all right.
Okay, thank you. I don't like misgendering people.
Yeah, it's hard to know when it's just a screen name and a little teeny photo.
Thank you for giving me the correct pronouns.
Yeah, I think I have the gist of the disagreement, but I'm not entirely sure. So if you wanna Vexora, I'll roll the R too. If you want to kind of state what the disagreement is, we can kind of go from there. We've been at this. How long? Is there a timer somewhere? Oh yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Hour and 37.
It's about the I know it's about the racism thing. The racism vid.
Yep, I know it's about that. I don't know exactly. I want to know what she thinks. Yeah, obviously I put my cards out on the table there. I don't know. I don't know exactly what she thinks. I assume it's not what I think. So that's kind of all I know. I've been telling you, and your response was to minimize it. I I mean, I guess I can scroll up, but um, do you think white people can experience racism? Yeah, I think so. I don't think they can experience systematic racism in a system in which they have control. So in that very specific type of racism, I would say no. In a broader context, a broader definition of racism, I would say yeah, yeah, sure. Yes or no is fine. Well, I will explain my answer so you understand more about where I'm coming from. So that is why I answered in the way I answered. Racism is systematic. Anything else is bigotry or prejudice. Um, okay, I understand where you're coming from. You're taking the same perspective as trust, and I think I get where you're coming from. You're using a very, very specific definition of racism. I'm using a different definition of racism. I think among the general public, my definition tends to be more common and more used. That's kind of why I have my definition. And yeah, I consider racism any bigotry that is based off of race. So under that definition, any race can be racist. Any race can experience racism. You don't? I don't know what you're responding to. Is an educated definition one that doesn't serve you in particular? Okay. So I really think it's just we're arguing over a definition. Like that's it. Like you use a word differently than I use. Like if I said that everyone can experience bigotry, um, bigotry based on race, we'd probably agree with that. I would assume. And yeah, I mean, if we want to call it that, okay, let's call it that. Because it's a white supremacist tactic to attempt to give themselves victimhood. Well, that's not what I'm doing. That is not what I'm doing. I'm not a white supremacist, and I'm not. Should I be saying that? I think TikTok would get mad about that.
TikTok would get mad about that, but I feel like in this case, prejudice would be a better tone for it because it's. Oh, and Vintage is raising their hand, by the way.
Oh. Speak.
Thank you. Just like as a side thing, right? Just because this TrustButVerify thing is still on my mind, I'm wondering, I'm doing that series, right? Where it's, can we separate art from the artist? An example is someone like Kevin Spacey, right? Disgusting, trash human being. But there's a couple of his movies that I really love. And so on TikTok, I discuss, oh God, my kids are going wild right now. On TikTok, I discuss what should we do about that? Should we watch the content and forget about them as humans? Should we ban the content completely because they're in it and it's kind of quasi supporting them? So these are things I like to think about too. And yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about it a little bit more. And sometimes, especially, I know I shouldn't kind of grade these crimes, but there are some times where, for example, if they're not actually convicted, then I might be a little bit more lenient in watching that media, for example. But I don't know. It's something I would love to discuss with you, like Ace and you, Pierce, just to see, like, do you find any problems wiping out the whole person and everything that they leave behind, like their content and stuff? Or do you sometimes consume movies and just separate the art from the person?
It's a difficult question for me.
Honestly,
Like,
for me, surprisingly, it's not. And the reasoning why is because you can't separate the art from the artist. And the reasoning behind it is because they still earn money for you watching it.
what if it's a VHS? What if it's a VHS you already own?
VHS, different story. If you already own the thing, then they've already made the money for it. You can't do anything to go about and change that. You already own the thing. So then at that point, you own it. You've already paid for it before all the things come out. But when it's like watching something on like Netflix or watching something on like Hulu or Prime or whatever it may be, they'd still earn the money for it. So it's, if you own the thing, watch it. If you have a CD for them, listen. They've already made what they're going to make off of you. But if you don't own it and you're getting it through like a subscription or something, don't watch it. Because at that point, you cannot separate the art from the artist because the artist is still making money for their art.
I think that's a fantastic point.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Or if you want to burn the VHS, you can do that too.
Yeah, that works too.
That's what I burnt my first tape. I did it on live, and I burnt a Bill Cosby tape the other week. So, yes, I have this whole stack of other tapes. Like I just got American Beauty, for example. That's why I'm thinking of the Kevin Spacey one. I got American Beauty. There's a whole heap of other ones, but yeah, that is so interesting. I love that idea too, where it's like, well, if they are making any money off of me, I must separate art from the artist. Otherwise, they are kind of capitalizing on that crime to, gain notoriety for people to buy more of their things.
That's one reason why I stopped watching like iCarly and stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, you can't look at that the same way,
No. I absolutely, like, I used to love watching iCarly, but I can't watch it in the same light anymore.
Totally. It's just gross. It's gross now.
Like you can just imagine Dan Schneider standing behind the camera going, more, more.
Yeah, it's just, it's so bad. It's so bad.
And like those are the kind of people, right? The whole industry knows, because no one, like, say you, Pierce, and Ace, no one spoke up and been like, oh, the way Dan acts with some of the actors and actresses is really weird. Like maybe we should just have like a minder. No one actually spoke up and said, hey, that's weird. Let's have a talk about it. Or let's be transparent here. There's a couple of weird things. Like, that's why I love what you guys are doing so much, because it's not a smear campaign. Like I heard some people complain like it was a smear campaign, and it's not a smear campaign. It's advocating for transparency. Yeah, because if TBV, if he really has done therapy, if he really has addressed the wrongdoing, right? It is one of those things that perhaps he'd be a better advocate for people like him. Like he wouldn't be hiding it. He wouldn't be talking about minors so much in his content too, like in weird ways. I'd never even heard of him, and then when I checked out his videos, I was like, this is a bit odd. Like every third video is about like what the Bible says about kids. I don't know if that's just coincidental or what, but
I never actually watched through his videos, so I never actually noticed that.
it's very frequent. He brings it up quite often. I think it's kind of like a, I don't know, a good. I would hope that it's just a good gotcha and not something that he just enjoys talking about.
See, I know we all have like our favorite verses to go back to. Mine personally, I do the "Is your God good?" I use Deuteronomy 22:13 through 21, talking about stunning women on their wedding night if they don't bleed. That's the one I bring up. Oh yeah, I stump a lot of Christians with that one. I will say that. Because of most of them don't even know that's in their book until I've started talking about it.
That's a new one for me.
Well, that's the one I bring up very frequently.
Yeah, makes sense.
Have either of you had a fallout or fall back or any kind of repercussions on your hard stances, hard drawn?
Well, I get kicked out a lot of places. So, aside from that,
Personally, I don't think I've had like any pushback on my end, and one of the reasons I think that is because of like I make my viewpoint known, and I do surround myself with people who are who share um, similar opinions as myself.
there is hard to get pushback when you agree. I think that's what you're
That
saying.
and yeah, that and I do debate, so a lot of people have like watched how I debate as at the same time. So there's that as well.
Mind if I take us back to the chat just for a moment? And I don't necessarily even want to respond to it, but I want to. I just kind of made a mental connection here, and I don't know. I want to know what you guys think about it. So basically, the way I'm reading this is these individuals are in the chat are proclaiming that I am a white SUP and racist. At least that's how I'm reading these comments. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. That is the claim that they're making, and I'm obviously saying no, definitely not. That's crazy. But like I'm making a connection between that and the TrustButVerify server and a lot of the individuals who are on that server. That is kind of the behavior that I experienced a lot, where it was like, "No, you're this," and I'll be like, "No, what? What you talking about?" So I don't know. What are you guys thinking about that?
I think one of the things that they're talking about is like the white people. Your stance on white people can experience racism. I think, like personally, I feel like we can experience prejudice because like prejudice is part of the racism definition, but prejudice has like a specific area surrounding it, and I feel like that would be a better approach to the topic. Because if you look at the prejudice definition, it does match what white people experience more than like racism on a technicality.
Yeah, and I see their point, and it sounds like you're in agreement there. And if that is the case, I see your point. I totally understand. It's just a matter of definitions and words. But you wouldn't take that and extrapolate into assuming I'm like a white SUP, right?
No, I think it's just like the definitions can be like interpreted differently in different people's minds, and as like I'm white, so like I feel like we can experience prejudice words a prejudice, but it's not like we're being suppressed, which is what a lot of people, when they hear racism, it's about suppression, not about words.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And I think that
I just don't see how it's possible. I don't see how it's possible how a black person, in particular, because you kind of stated black people can be racist to white people. I think they can say things that are adjacent to racism, but racism is more of a systemic thing. That's why it's an ism.
it's about
Yeah.
like how you wouldn't say that people are sexist towards men because they're not oppressed by a societal standard. Is there prejudice towards men? Some aspects, yes. And that's kind of the way, like with ageism. A lot of ageism is like suppression on age. I've had experience with that, in like a lot of different aspects. Like when I run lives, because I am on the younger side, I have some people that will come up, and because I am younger, they think that I haven't had like a experience in life, and it's like they're trying to suppress my voice, mix my age and my gender together, and it's complete hell trying to do debates sometimes. Now, like with race, I feel there could be prejudice or prejudice. That's how I'm gonna say it. Prejudice towards white people, but we're not. Oh, my skin color's not what oppresses me.
Yeah.
White people are not oppressed by skin color. It's more on there's a prejudice towards white. Some people have a prejudice towards white people.
Yeah, and I think like we're on the same page. We're just using the word differently. That's really all it is. It's like
Why do
like
you
I'd like
have
to
to use the word racism then? And I will say this as well. I grew up, obviously, my family are black, and my grandmother was black, and so on and so forth. And she had to put up with a lot of racism, which in turn, not just her, but other members as well, made them pretty wary of white people. But that's only because they received the bigotry first. So what they were doing was being a survivalist and being a realist by going, okay, watch out for these particular people because they treat us this way. But that's because they went through lived experience and they were treated as a group. Do you understand what I'm saying, host?
yeah, totally. I totally understand.
So even then, I really can't say like it's racism, like because there are a lot of, especially the older generation, they're doing it from a sense of they've been through a lot, so they're just acting on survival sometimes. And then obviously this spreads to the children, as we do with social animals. We teach our young what to look for, what dangers to look out for. They're then told, be careful around. I was told, be careful around these certain people because this happened. So I think the relationship between white and black people is really individual to the different relationships that maybe other races. Like I said, I brought up the Chinese thing and doing the eyes, and I see that, yeah, that is racist. That's a racist act, but I wouldn't call like systemic. I don't see any systemic racism from black people
Mm-hmm.
to Asian people.
Yeah. With that last part, I absolutely agree with you. I'd like to try this little experiment. If all of you would like to indulge, I'd like to try to state some things without using any of the definitions we might disagree with, and I just want to see if you guys agree with me on the words I'm saying. Um, might take me a moment. I might be slow at forming these sentences. Let's see. One a particular person who is in the non-majority race, so let me restart that. A person who is a part of the majority race in a area cannot experience a oppression by a non-majority non-majority race member. Is this an accurate statement? I think that it would be an accurate statement.
That would definitely be an accurate statement because, like, I know where you're like at with it, like, because our skin color kind of is the majority in the Western Hemisphere.
Yes.
That's we
what I was talking
can't.
about.
Yeah, we can't experience oppression like other races can.
Cool.
May I
The
put
next.
in just
Go
a
ahead.
different point of view on that one?
Yes, please.
I totally see where you guys are coming from, and I would have agreed, but the way I grew up was actually I grew up in the Middle East.
Oh.
I'm European background. I don't know if that's like European American. And yeah, so I grew up in the Middle East, being part of a very small community of white people, but we were definitely still in the position of privilege, as in we had, imagine at the time we were living in Egypt, so we had an Egyptian driver, an Egyptian, like a live-in caretaker, um, an ironer, someone who would like, so we had a whole bunch of people that would do different tasks, but they were Egyptian, even though they were the majority group in that country. We still were able to um, benefit from our position of privilege as rich white people.
Mm. Okay. So there might be more to it than just majority. It might be power as like indicated by money.
Yeah, perhaps, and because there isn't that same advantage there for Egyptians, a lot of Egyptians, especially living in Cairo, are trash collectors, for example. So they would go around to people's houses, collect the trash, recycle the trash, get money. And yeah, so their position did not quite allow money making to be as easy as it was for our family there.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a really important nuance and a good point. That was kind of that's I suppose that's a flaw in my statement. It didn't include circumstances like that. So that's really I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you.
Yeah,
Um,
I would agree with Vintage by saying that white people, even in a minority circumstance, can still get a lot of privilege. I'm from Barbados. I saw the same exact thing that she's describing. There, even though that they're the minority, they have most of the wealth on the island and the privilege.
okay. Yeah, if I were to modify my statement to include that nuance, you would, instead of like the majority, it would be like more of just the power or influence. Then that whole statement, you would probably end up agreeing with me, right? We're on the same page.
Sure, yeah.
Cool. Okay, we got that tackled. I want to do my next one here. Oh, Ace is gonna be right back. Well, I can say it again, maybe. um, Got to think about this for a moment. People who have power or influence over other people who have less power or less influence can experience actions in which degrade them based on their identity. Would that be a statement that you guys would agree with?
Are you saying privileged people can't go through? Privileged people can go through adversity when it comes to factors they can't change, i.e., skin color. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think mostly the end, maybe not. I think I'm saying people of privilege can go through, can experience things that like can experience an individual action which is based on their skin color or identity of some other sorts, that negatively impacts them to a degree of some sort, even if it's minimal.
And you're not necessarily saying any particular race. That could just be anyone.
Yeah. Any. It could be race. It could be gender. It could be anything. But I mean, we can specifically talk about race if
Yeah,
we can
you
do
need
that.
to
If,
make it
yeah.
specific. Yeah,
Yeah, we can just limit it to race.
which one? Because it does make a difference.
Let's just say United States, and it would be white people. Let's say.
If I'm understanding you right, I guess this is just the way I think a lot. I take what you say and then I see how I can apply it to my life. And I do that to try to understand. So you just tell me if I've got this right. So off of this next point, my example would be how when we traveled overseas, we didn't travel using our American passports because Americans overseas are known like higher targets for things like um, kidnapping and ransom. So we wouldn't travel on those passports.
Okay. Yeah, that might be a good example of kind of what I'm talking about. Elizabeth, what are your thoughts?
I see, like the example that vintage gave was a good one because it helps me just wrap my head around what you're saying because I'm finding it quite hard to understand because to me it's like saying, oh, can the slave owner feel unhappy sometimes? Boo hoo.
Hmm. I mean, I'm not really
That's
talking about
Well,
necessarily
I'm
a
not talking
slave
about
owner.
slave, but when I think of wealth, I think about the haves and the have-nots. You can't really be wealthy to a certain extent without exploiting the people underneath you. So I just think that, oh, poor rich person, you're a bit sad.
Okay. Okay, I hear you. When you say rich, are you literally talking about money, or are you talking about something more than just that?
The rich people I know is like wealth as in land wealth. They own a lot of what people, so let's say that the people who don't really like them, they usually own the houses or the land underneath those people, and that's why they don't like them. So I tend to fall on the side of what did they do to garner dislike, to be honest.
Okay. Just to be clear, in my example here, I wasn't necessarily talking about anybody who, I mean, I was kind of talking about a race as a whole. I mean,
Okay.
specifically, I was talking about white people, but I meant, you
Mm,
know, we kind of decided we'd talk specifically about white people in the United States, and that was
mm,
just all encompassing. Oh, whether you have wealth, whether you don't have wealth, that was just
okay.
everybody.
But in the US at least, that would be the wealthiest group.
Yes, it would be. Of course, not every individual,
No,
you know, is wealthy. Of course, you know that's white.
no. Yeah. I don't know, mate. It sounds to me like a really minority thing to call out and out racism. I don't know. That's what I'm hearing.
I have no
I'm sorry, I
idea
don't
what was.
hear back, Ace.
Yeah, I'm back.
Cool, cool. Um, Maybe I'll try to repeat that. I don't even know the words I used. Um, I can try. Let me see if I can try. Um, I was I was saying that a um, the group in a country or community with the most power can experience things in their life that uh, from non uh, from less powerful groups in that community that impact them negatively based on their race. I think I said that right.
Okay, Elizabeth, I know you weren't finished speaking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I cut you off? I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. I just think instinctively no.
Hmm. I'm wondering about the example that that vintage VHS gave. Would that be an example? A good example?
I will say this, I've been around people like the colonial white families, and the reason why they are targeted is because of the history of exploitation within those countries. So it's like a multi layered generational issue, and you can't really take one scenario and paint like you have to look deeper than just the kidnapping threat. You have to look at why has it come to this.
I'm gonna repeat it back the example for Ace, just because she didn't wasn't here for it, and also
Sure.
I repeat it back for myself because I'm not entirely understanding. VHS was describing a scenario in which her family was going on a vacation somewhere and they were not using their American passports because they feared that uh, would be a higher likelihood of them being kidnapped because American tourists are targeted more than other tourists. Um, and then I guess the part I don't understand, Elizabeth, is like you said, like something about colonialism. Um, I guess I'm not making the connection
Because you're
here.
talking about white, well,
Yeah,
what she's saying that they're automatically safe by not being Americans, that's nationality. So
that is nationality. Yeah.
they can easily just shed that bit. Whereas like I'm black, I can't fucking just shed. I'm not angry. I'm just swearing because,
Yeah.
but like I can't just shed it and like use a different black passport
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? It's different. I just don't think it's something. I think when you put in white, I can definitely see a white person who is like, that's why I want to throw you a bone by giving you like the class issue in there, perhaps, and saying I can definitely see a majority poor white person perhaps being victimized by other white people. But I just don't see that coming from outside their race. I don't see how that's possible.
If we switch the scenario and it wasn't about an American passport versus a non-American passport, let's just say, I mean, I don't know if this is true, um, but hypothetically, let's just say like white people were targeted more than any other race, to be kidnapped or whatever it might be. Um, would that example be a better example then?
To use an example with an example, I studied in Barcelona for a while, and there's like a really bad pickpocketing issue. And but the thing is, I would never get targeted by the pickpockets. They would go
Mm-hmm.
always go after like my white friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say it's a case of reverse racism, where it's like because I'm black, they think I'm poor, but I'm actually being more safe because
Yeah.
they would really beat up my white friends because they thought they had money. But mind you, Spanish people are white.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you make
Okay,
sense of
I hear
that.
you. That
A
actually sparked.
situation.
Go ahead, Ace.
It's in a situation where it's like we can't experience what people with darker melatonin skin experiences ever. Like we can't experience the oppression that they've experienced. When we get pulled over, we're not worried about like what's going to happen if I reach for something. Like we don't have to worry about that like they do. And that's kind of the difference. They deal with a lot of oppression. And the playing field is not in their favor by any means. Because like
Also,
even
sorry. Sorry, Ace. I thought you had
you're
finished. Sorry.
good. But like that's where I'm getting it. Like that's where I'm at. I don't have to worry about my skin color. I have to worry about my gender and my age. Now, somebody with like the exact gender, the same gender as I am, the same age as I am, but them being darker melatonin, they're going to have to add on their skin color to have to worry about as well. Because I'm as pale as a ghost, and that's not something I ever have to worry about. Unlike them, and their prejudice comes from a place of oppression. They have been oppressed. They are still oppressed. I make more because of my skin color than they do. And I think that's where the difference is. They are oppressed. Prejudice and oppression, two separate things.
Yeah, I would agree
Okay.
with that.
Okay. So I think I see where you're coming from. I want to give a more hopefully down to earth example. Like.
Hang on, I know Vintage had something to say real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I just also want to say thank you, all the speakers, because, oh, God, I just love having deep conversations like this without it devolving. And I'm also very mindful towards, like, Elizabeth being the only person of color right now. So, I really appreciate if you're having to go through anything to be like the one colored voice in this discussion, and maybe in all the discussions that you've had to have, maybe you're the one colored voice. So thanks, Elizabeth. And I had a couple of questions for you specifically. One was just out of interest. I would love to know, what were the nations that your grandparents or whatever was warning you of? I would just love to know, like, yeah, what was that?
So the two, oh God, it's bad.
It's okay. It's not us, it's other people.
Yeah. So one was the white Bajans, and they are like, oh God, they're colonials, and they'll be going back to when Barbados was like first a colony, and they've stayed white, purely white for that whole time. So they're quite into like inbreeding and shipping white people from the old world into there. So they were like proper Puritans in that sense. And they would like make segregation on the island. So they would say like no black people down this road after a certain time. So like no black people down the road after the maids leave the house. Even after slavery was outlawed, they there was like a revolt in Barbados where the white planters refused to pay any of the black workers. They were just saying, well, the British Empire, so they're not gonna come and save you people to pay you. So we're just like not going to pay you. And there's nothing you can really do about it. So there was a riot then, and obviously that creates resentment. And I think resentment, rightly so. There's only so many times that you can hurt a person before they start going, well, this person continuously hurts us, so we need to act in some kind of way to protect ourselves. And the other time, my gran was a nurse in New York for like maybe 15, 20 years in the 60s. And she would work for, okay, this is going to get a bit touchy, but I really don't mean this in any sort of anti-Semitic hate at all. But she would be invited to be like a house nurse for some Jewish people, and they would tell her they were scared to have her in a house because she might steal things, and actually that she's a good N-word because she's trustworthy.
Oh my God. That is next level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gee. And I'll be completely transparent here. What you were talking about revealed my own biases, and I'm being transparent in order to try to maybe improve myself here. When you said that you were not targeted by the pickpocketers, my first thought wasn't that you were poor, it was that you were tough. That, like, yeah, like, right or wrong, it's like, oh, like, not like I think like this, but maybe subconsciously my brain was like, no, the white girls are weak. The black woman is gonna be able to fight me.
That's probably
So
it as well, but that's still a bit racist.
absolutely. But I just wanted to say thank you for highlighting that subconscious stereotype in my own mind. I was surprised that I had that thought, and it was only revealed by what you said. And then the last thing I wanted to say with Pierce is, I think when people are backed into a corner, instead of wanting to discuss nuances and, areas that live in the gray, people just want to be like, draw that hard line. And if and that's okay for things like PDFs, but when there's other things, like we're talking race right now, and if you're trying to shut down the conversation, oh, well, you're just a white sup, then to me, that isn't a discussion in good faith. To me, that is just kind of shutting the conversation down, like in a really disingenuous way. I don't want to have this conversation anymore. I'm not changing this person's mind, so I'm just going to throw out an accusation, and that should do the trick.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think in the chat that might have been what was going on a little bit, which is unfortunate. I don't like to see that. Whether it's about me or somebody else, or even if it's something where it's talking about someone I don't like, those baseless accusations. I don't like that. I don't like that. That sucks. Yeah, but thank you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the whole panel being here. You guys are pretty awesome. And this
Hi,
discussion has
Ketchup.
been. Who's Ketchup? Anybody I know? No, I don't think so. But
Ketchup's part of the Backlight crew, so just letting you know, we got some really cool people in the room right now.
Cool. And I just want to say, like, you guys have been giving me a lot to think about. I mean, granted, I still kind of think we're just disagreeing on definitions and kind of definitions alone, but definitely have explored it more than I have previously. And I just want to say thank you to you guys for doing that. It's been good. It's been really helpful.
Pierce, just keep reading, especially when it comes to, like, I'm sure you do read, but what I always found really interesting about, for instance, the British white people here was that they didn't ever seem to understand how the empire worked, how colonialism worked. I'm from Barbados, and they would dead ass ask me, what language do you guys speak? Well, motherfucker, we speak English because we were under the Queen and whoever else, and you're yoke for 500 years. And these are really smart people, mind you. I worked at Oxford for many years, and these would be like Oxford students, graduates asking me these questions. And I think you're living a bit, like Vintage said, you're living a bit in the grey areas when actually this kind of thing is kind of, to me, it's pretty obvious that black people cannot be systematically racist to white people.
Oh, I agree with you on that statement. We're on the same page there.
But if you as Pierce walked by and heard a partial story of my granny saying, look, Elizabeth, be careful around these white people, and you pick up just that snapshot and you haven't heard about, like, the other bit of the story that she's telling. Sorry, one second. You might think it is a bit racist sounding. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Even knowing the backstory, and it was a lovely story. Thank you for sharing it. I do think that that statement still is racist. However, given that situation, given what she went through, given that the time period, I do think it was justified. Like, it's hard to imagine going through that and not feeling that way, right? That I totally understand it. Like, I would probably feel the same way. I think we all would.
I don't know if racism can ever be justified, but I think that's a conversation for a different day. But it's nice
Perhaps it
putting
is.
a face to a name, and regardless, I appreciate you for letting us know about the nonce.
Yes.
Because that's super important. I've got a kid. I take that stuff, like Vintage say, I take that very seriously. I didn't care if you're a Christian troll or not, but I wish you had, like, kind of just use your face and just been honest, but I get why you didn't do it. But I appreciate what you did, okay?
Thank you.
You take care of yourself, ladies. Good night. I'll talk to you some other time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good to meet you.
See you, Elizabeth.
Now that you've come out with this information, you do need a little bit of a rebranding, though.
Yeah, I suppose.
I feel like most of the videos up don't need to be up anymore. And like changing your name, changing the profile, like even keeping the profile picture would be fine, but like changing the name, like do a rebranding now that you came out with this very important information. Maybe making it more adjustable, if that makes sense. And if you would like
Yeah.
to message me and all that, I can help you with that as well.
Sure. We'll bounce some ideas around.
Yeah. But I feel like a rebranding is in order now. Now that we've
Maybe.
put a name and a face to the account.
Oh,
like
well,
it.
I think it depends on the mission of the account. So is this like, are you going to just focus on trust on this account and then do other things on other accounts? Or is this like a truth-telling account? Or are you going to wipe this and start this as a personal account? Like, I think it really depends on what you want to do with the account.
Yeah, I suppose it does. I don't know. I guess it kind of depends what Trust does. Like, if he comes back full force, shit. Like, I gotta keep up with this. I would say, because gotta warn people, right? If he fizzles out or really isn't doing well, then I don't know. I don't know what I want to do then.
I'm going to give you a what's it called? A spectrum. I'm going to give you a
Okay.
spectrum, right? And maybe you could see where you want to fall on this spectrum.
All right.
So, number one on the spectrum at the very bottom is you're moving on. Total rebrand. Why not keep the likes and stuff you've gained here? And as well as like the connections you've made with this new little community with the shared, and a total rebrand, but it's a personal brand and people know who you are and what you stand for. That's number one. Number 100, right? I'm talking number 100 to the max is total focus, tunnel vision on trust. And like the next step would be interviewing people he knows. Like that's what 100 is. If you want to keep focusing on trust, as content viewers, we need more. Like the videos are getting boring. we need interviews. We need more receipts.
You know how like when you came into my server, your name was Truth Teller?
Yeah.
That would be a perfect rebrand name.
I do kind of dig it.
Because you're out here spreading the truth.
All right, that might be the rebrand.
If you continue going like down the rabbit hole with TBV, then the profile picture would still make sense, but truth teller, you're telling the truth about him. You're trying to update it as like less of a troll account and more of trying to get the truth out there.
I like that. Yeah. And then that will give me room to talk about other things if they happen to come up.
Exactly.
I like that, Ace. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I do like not focusing on one individual so hard as well.
Catch up. TrustButVerify is a content creator here on TikTok.
His actual account is TrustButVerify 2024. He's kind of been inactive in doing lives for the past since this came out, but he's still posting videos on YT. That's
Yeah,
why
that's
what
why.
caused him to stop going live for a little bit. He's hoping it'll blow over. So I feel like if we keep putting pressure on it, then I don't know what's going to happen, but
And he is a portable document file, otherwise known as a PDF.
yes.
At least this way, catch up, just talking. It's obviously we don't want to ruin random people's lives, but at least from my point of view, I won't speak for everyone, but my point of view is I just want transparency. I want to know who I'm hanging out with and who I'm spending time with, and
He
I mean, this is official.
he made sorry, Vintage. He made deconstruction content. He was in the debate atmosphere. I won't exactly say deconstruction. He was in the debate atmosphere though.
I think
Best way for
deconstruction might be a fair term to use.
I wouldn't say all of his debates is deconstruction.
No.
I will say it may I
Mostly
would
like
say
the
debate.
side chats kind of were deconstruction sometimes with friendlies.
I will say debate. Because a lot of the way he did it may not have been helpful in ever deconstructing somebody, but I mean, maybe deconstructing certain ideologies.
Maybe.
But yeah,
Maybe not. Yeah.
he was kicked
The
out of.
issue.
Sorry, Vintage.
Oh no, not at all. But part of the issue catch up is that when confronted, this dude, God, I forgot his real name, but I won't use it. But Trust, he didn't really take accountability. All he did was say, "Real." If you sum it up, his words are, "It was 20 years ago. I did a lot of therapy. I've paid for it, and someone's got like a thorn in them over me." Like, that's not it at all. And that's why it's an even bigger issue than maybe he expected it to be. Because, like, once you put it in even more personal, like, if someone hurt your kids, catch up, how long do you think it would take you to get over it? Do you think 20 years and some therapy would do it for you? It wouldn't do it for me.
You might not be
So.
alive if it was me.
That's why I say in the future, there's the F around and find out laws. I swear these laws are going to come in and, people are going to start being vigilantes because there's not enough justice. To be honest, my position was we should have probably just ostracized someone like that as soon as it happens. Because if
Catch up. Let me put it in perspective. He wants to say, well, it happened so many years ago. He was 19. The child was under the age of 14.
Because of the charge, we know it's 14 and under. We don't know with proof, with receipts, how young that minor was.
Allegedly, it was 12. Allegedly.
No receipts, but great fun.
Either way, the age of the victim does not matter in this. It's the fact that it happened.
Yeah. And that they were that age range.
To be honest, I have had talks with people since this news coming out about rehabilitation. Now, there's some lovely people that I really love and I really respect, and they want to see the best out of everyone, and they do push this idea of rehabilitation. I'm not wise enough. I don't know. Maybe rehabilitation is possible, but I know it hasn't happened here in this instance because of the way he's reacted to the information coming out. Do you think if you really were rehabilitated, you would get all defensive? You know, I think you'd feel ashamed.
The only two ways he's came forth with the information after it came out was to send one message in the server and to address it on a live. Never once did he make a fucking video.
Did he say what the crime was? I'm interested.
No.
He never
spoke.
he never said the crime.
Wow. So, like, that's even worse than I thought. Like, he wasn't even defensive. He was so defensive. He just said, I've committed a crime in the past. Like, he's not even actually alluding to what he did.
The way he worded it in the chat was, hang on, let me see if I can find it.
I think it's almost like the words he spoke in the live. I think he was almost reading it.
What he did was he said, I committed a horrible crime over 35 years ago when I was 19 and the survivor at the time was underage. I've already taken extensive accountability for it and multiple mental health professionals and multiple judges have already evaluated and settled this. The people closest to me in my real life have also had to process and make their own decisions about my past. Which means he wasn't even transparent with the people that were in his real life. With all this in mind, I get it when people say they're crushed to find this out about me. I get that too many. My past is the only thing in this situation that matters, not the man I've become nor all the things I've done since. I also get that there's nothing I can say or do that changes how some people see me. I accept all that. But none of my past or what's happened recently will affect what I have been doing for many decades and what I will continue to do for the rest of my life. Keep taking accountability, keep maintaining, keep developing, and keep striving to be a little better today than yesterday and come through for people closest to me in real life who still count on me. That's exactly how he worded it. Never once. He said the victim was underage. But in that whole thing, he is painting himself as the fucking victim. He did not address the fact that the child was under the age of 14.
You know, I go to also, I'm a communications, like I studied communications at uni. I'm stuck on, he's used the word survivor to talk about that minor that was a victim. Yeah, I'm stuck on that. I'm like, survivor. Survivor.
Only the person who has survived it can call themselves a survivor. The perpetrator.
Yeah. It feels like that came straight from therapy. Like the therapist is like, when you talk about this, here's some ways that you can phrase it that's better.
As a survivor myself, if my perpetrator ever said the survivor, I would be doing jail time. Because out of their mouth, no. Absolutely not.
The crazy thing is the survivor, with quotes, is a child. Like, that's wild that his Discord people are standing by that or don't know because he hasn't been forthright.
They don't know the age range. Nowhere has he said what the age range was. He is still not being transparent about it.
All right, I'm just going to address... I know he's not in the room, but I'm going to address him directly. Trust. Use the word survivor to minimize your actions. Good fucking job. You didn't fucking kill them. But you did something almost just as fucking bad. Fuck you. Sorry, I had to get that out.
I am a survivor, which is why this hits so much harder. I was a literal baby the first time it ever happened to me. I was under the age of 18 months old the first time it happened to me, and this fucking hits so hard, and to find it out not even from him, outrages me.
I'm sorry you went through that, Ace.
That's so raw and real, Ace. Just sending you some love because that's so heavy.
I've been through some heavy fucking shit. I won't even act like I haven't. And that's why when I say survivor, it is different than a perpetrator trying to say survivor instead of victim.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, let's discuss what would have happened. Like for someone like him to even be considered rehabilitated, what should trust should have done?
He should have been, first of all, open with it. It shouldn't have been something that people had to find out about from somebody else by any means. Second of all, in a perfect world, he should not be on a platform with children.
With a lot of children. Like a lot of children.
If you think about it, you know what's crazy? Like this is just the darkest part of my mind. That offshoot of Discord, isn't that a really good way to siphon off people away from like somewhere more private? Like say if you wanted to victimize someone, if you met someone on TikTok that you wanted to victimize, sending them to your Discord would be a great way to do it.
Or just messages in general.
Yeah, but I just mean like this whole environment is just a perfect environment for a predator to either ostracize or get alone or privately message, have private relationships with people, whether it's on TikTok or there's other avenues like Discord. It's not even on this one app. It's crazy.
It is. It truly is.
Oh my, is everyone over 18 in his Discord? Is my next question. Is there anyone underage in his Discord?
I don't even know because I don't think there's like any way to. Huh. Damn.
But are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Somebody just removed me from TBV's server.
Somebody be watching. Hey, I should check to see if they're talking about us. Let's see what's going on. Let's meander on in here. Now, I'm not going to show you anything off my phone directly like that, because then they would probably kick me out. I am not kicked out, and there's no new messages. Probably not allowed to talk about it. That'd probably be a big no-no.
But yeah, I went and was looking through. Don't get me wrong, that's the only one I've been kicked out of, but
yeah. I might come on a little strong sometimes. That's funny that they kicked you out. I wonder who. I didn't see anybody that I recognized that would have sounded the alarm.
I don't know.
In any
Truly,
case,
I don't know. But either way, whatever.
it was bound to happen after this anyway.
Oh yeah,
I
happened
think it's
sooner than
it's hilarious.
later.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's hilarious how they still haven't kicked me out because they don't know which username I am. That's great. I love it. I'll keep you updated if they talk about you, though.
Okay.
I'm gonna give random kudos. We got a couple of people back in the room, some familiar faces, not necessarily friendly, but wouldn't mind them knowing that I want to give out some kudos to Ace and Pierce here for just being really awesome people who can discuss things without it devolving to personal insults or threats. And yeah, people who just want community safety and basic respect and decency. Like, these are people that we should be building our communities from instead of, I'm going to go ahead and say it, trash humans who cover up what they did in the past. And when it comes out, they get all defensive and are not accountable. And I love things like this because, yeah, transparency is key to keeping our kids safe. And yeah, if these kind of people are allowed in our communities, then we should at least be transparent about it. And if people want to keep being his friends, then I think that's their right. Go for it. I've got some friends that want to keep being friends with him. And that just kind of also tells me a little bit more about my friends. So I think this is important to talk about as a community. So thank you both.
Absolutely. I personally as I said, I was part of the community. I did there's been a couple of times where I did send the jellyfish to drop a guest, or I was in his fan club and things like that. Again, I was in his server up until 5 minutes ago. And the message does need to get out there of the transparency and the fact that when he's addressed it, it's not been even full transparency with him addressing it.
And I guess since you gave a little bit of background on your history with him in the server, I give a little background on me. I actually, and I regret this so much, but I actually have a friendship, I guess, with Anthony Magnabosco. And if you don't know who that is, he is the leader of Street Epistemology International. And I actually got one of Trust's early on, very early on, conversations up on the Street Epistemology podcast. I thought it was a good conversation. I mean, I still do think it's a good conversation now, but at the time, especially, I thought it was great. So I contacted Anthony, got it put up on there. Yeah, I really regret doing that because that sucks. But yeah, anyways, that's how Trust and I initially met. We did a live stream a very long time ago together. And then I became public enemy number one on his server for, I would say, just petty reasons, definitional disagreements, mostly. And they kicked me out several times. I went back a few times under a different username. And yeah, then I came across that information right there, and that video blew up pretty good. I'm happy it did. Happy to spread the word.
Yeah, we were talking about transparency, right? If you had known this about trust, do you think you would have, gone out on a limb, asked a favor for him as your friend? Hey, I heard this awesome conversation. Can you throw this up on your podcast, mate? Like, do you think you would have done that? Exactly. That's why transparency is so important, because we don't want to elevate these kind of people. That's how they end up being presidents. That's how they end up being powerful people.
Yep. I'm kind of wondering how
They
far
deserve
he
to
would
be.
have went, had this information not gone out. Would he?
Hey, Pierce.
Yes.
Vexora has
Mhm.
made a comment that we have had a major conversation about, and I'm hoping you can understand where she is coming from with the comment. Please read the comment.
Yeah, it's the most recent one we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, you 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 can't use bigotry and prejudice interchangeably for racism. They aren't synonyms. Yeah, I understand where she's coming from. I totally get it. Yeah, we had that whole conversation, and yeah, I definitely understand the perspective. Uh, Me understanding you is understanding where you're coming from. It doesn't necessarily mean agreement. Just so you're aware.
We have had a very extensive conversation with Pierce between me and Elizabeth. We're hoping he can comprehend why the comment white people cannot experience racism is such a valid comment, instead of it's white people can't experience racism, white people can experience prejudice. Because you can't oppress the majority, but there can be prejudice on a personal level.
Those kind of it gets me frustrated. Those types of comments. His mind won't be changed with one conversations. He's been hunting for an opportunity like this. I when talking to Elizabeth, when talking to Ace and Vintage here, I've been hearing them out. I've been doing the least amount of speaking and probably done the most amount of listening. So if and granted, I still do think it's just comes down to different definitions of a word rather than any kind of disagreement in how we perceive the world. So with that being said, yeah, I could change my mind, and me doing more listening than speaking, that's how one gets there. But now I think I'm done responding to you because I don't think you're doing very much listening. So I don't think it's worth my time at this point.
As I've explained to Pierce, it would be like a man trying to say that they experience sexism instead of a prejudice on this aspect, because they cannot be oppressed by their gender. They don't have to worry about like walking alone down the street at night, or like going to a club. like we do.
Like just covering their drink with their hand because they're afraid of
Yeah.
getting date raped. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry for using that word.
That's the end of the stream. The end of the live.
But
When you brought up that example, Ace, it blew my mind because I'm not really grasping the racism discussion fully because I had a similar point of view where it's like I feel like we're all saying the same thing, but we're just using different words.
the thing
And
is,
I think so.
but when
with
you use that sexism example, it clicked in my head because
yeah,
I'm white. I don't see the racism card or like that conversation. I don't see that. And then when you put it into the man versus woman and I've been in the woman position, I'm like, oh, okay. I instantly understand
when
that.
you if you can switch your mindset to thinking about it like that, then you can sometimes it's easier to comprehend it from that point of view. Does racism have the word prejudice in it in the definition? Yes. But prejudice is a whole separate definition than what racism stands for. Racism is oppression, whereas prejudice is like a disdain towards a certain group of people based on like skin color or wealth or like gender or stuff like that. Racism stands for oppression. Prejudice stands for like disdain. And my skin color is not what oppresses me. Whereas like with people that have a darker melatonin skin, they do experience oppression for their skin color. So that is why it is considered racism. Prejudice towards the white color, like towards the white skin, is different from oppression. And as Vintage said, we wouldn't say men are oppressed because of their gender, because 9 times out of 10, men don't have to worry about the same things women do. Like, if we're going to a bar, we normally go in as groups instead of just individuals. Whereas men don't always go in as groups. Women, we have to have each other's backs because of the things we experience. Whereas men, they're fine going into the bathroom alone. There's more than one reason why women go to the bathroom in groups in large spaces. And it's not just because we want to mingle with each other. It's so that way other people are there and there's not going to be something that happens. The darker melatonin community, they are oppressed. They are still oppressed. They are still heavily oppressed. They still have to worry about getting pulled over by police and what's going to happen if they reach for something. There's still oppression there. And oppression equals racism when it comes to skin color. Oppression equals sexism when it comes to gender. Oppression equals ageism when it comes to age. When it comes to disdain for like skin color, age, or whatever else it may be, gender, that's prejudice. We would not call disdain towards men sexism. We would call it prejudice, and it's the same when it comes to skin color.
Yeah,
I love the
I
way
agree
you
with.
talk, Ace.
I agree with like 99.9% of everything that you just said. But the one thing that I just disagree with, like we got like I think the your last statement might be a good example. So you were talking about how a system, how man, I can't even repeat exactly what. Can you repeat the last part that you just said about sexism and kind of like the path?
Oppression towards racism. Like oppressive.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oppression towards gender, sexism. Oppression towards age is ageism. Prejudice or disdain towards a certain community because of them oppressing you. Prejudice.
That's really interesting.
No matter the topic.
So with ageism, um, like can any age experience ageism?
Yes.
Okay. Uh,
It's the thing is a lot of it is the younger people. Like I can give you some experiences I've had with it. I was a 19-year-old setup at a factory job. And I can't tell you how many times somebody told me I should not be doing it because of how young I am. That I can't be doing it because of how young I am. That would be that would be a great way of ageism because they're trying to oppress me in my job. But that was also an ageism / sexism thing because I was a 19-year-old woman. But then you also have, like, I do debates. I do conversations, and I can't tell you how many times, well, you're younger. You don't have as much life experience as I do. You shouldn't be talking about this. Comes up. So they're trying to suppress me by my age. They're trying to downplay like what I've been through or like what I'm going through by my age.
okay.
Do I can yes.
I will say on what you just mentioned, I'm a new fan of yours, and the first time I went into one of your spaces to listen to the content, well, first of all, I noticed the difference right away because most of the people are men. So right away, I'm like, wow, this room has a different vibe, and that's because a woman has the power right now. I felt like there's this weird like vibration thing where it was almost off kilter, where like the men or the boys that were in the room just were not used to it. And one actually devolved into calling you a little girl. I just thought that's very interesting. Very interesting. The men did not like this lady being the boss, being the host, and on top of that, got all upset about it and called you names after all. So I
I've
just
been
thought
called
that's
a
very on
bitch.
point.
I've been called a bitch at least 5 times within 2 days.
Wow.
Yes, all because I am a woman, and that's
Yeah.
not something that men are going to experience. Like, how many times have you ever watched a man's live and somebody will come up on the panel and go, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful."
Oof. Yeah.
That's the difference between man and woman.
Yeah.
And as I said, there is definitely oppression towards women in general, but if you look statistically, black women do have it a lot worse.
I can only imagine, honestly.
Um, and that is why I say uh, white people experience prejudice. White people can experience prejudice, not racism, because of the fact that white people are not oppressed by their skin color. And if we're being honest, a lot of things that happen towards black people is because of white people. So they're justified in their prejudice, in my opinion. Now, do I think they should go around saying we should unalive white people? No. But I do think that black people are valid in their prejudice towards white people because white people have oppressed them for centuries.
My ego wanted to throw away what you just said, but I'm letting it sit. And when I let it marinate, my first thought is, well, as a woman who has experienced abuse at a man's hand, or multiple men, oh God, give me a moment, my baby.
I am an advocate for equality amongst all. And I will say it is the fight for black people is a lot harder.
I was saying, with my experiences of abuse from men, it's my right to feel a bit wary of men in general, and to have that kind of, the word that you used was prejudice. To have that prejudice, I am prejudiced against men who are strangers, because of my past experiences. And so when I translate that into what you said for me, it's like I can understand. I'm Australian, so I'm going to talk about Aboriginal versus white Australia, where I can understand the Aboriginal, some of their feelings, some of their negative feelings towards white people because of that past and what continues to today. So I really do appreciate, I don't know, you helping me think about this. This isn't stuff that I think about. I live in a very white community. So thank you.
I try to advocate for all types of people. So I don't specify, I don't just advocate for women or the LGBTQIA plus. I'm not in the black community. Will I still advocate for them? Yes. Because they are at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to rights and privileges. And I'm trying to put it in a perspective that with you, Vintage, you understood it when I compared it to sexism, because as a woman, it's going to click easier for you in that aspect. Pierce, I have no way of making it connect with you because you are you straight?
Yeah.
You are a straight white man. It is a
I love
lot
how he
harder.
said it, though. I love how you
He's like-
said that, Pierce. You're like, yeah, I love the ladies.
But it's harder to make it connect in your mind because you don't experience the oppression that because you're pale. You're pale, you're a man,
Yeah.
you're older, and you're straight. So it's harder for me to be able to make it connect in your brain as to what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where the disconnect is coming from in your mind, because you don't have anything to latch onto for you to fully comprehend the explanation.
It could be. Actually just drew out like a little map, like a little thought map. And I think this might be where some of the disagreement, disconnect might be, maybe. Like I see, I think we both agree that there's like two, I'm gonna call them pipelines, but that probably is a bad word to use. But there's like oppression occurring, and that's completely separate from prejudice, right? Two completely
Yes.
different things. You're right. The way I see it is both of those can result in like racism, whereas you see oppression only resulting in racism, while prejudice cannot result in racism. prejudice results in what word would you use? Would it just be prejudice?
Prejudice would just be prejudice.
Okay.
It's disdain.
Okay. Gotcha.
So like with black people, they have a strong disdain towards white people because of the oppression they are experiencing. Let's put it job-wise, for example. I don't know what you do for work. If you would you mind telling me what you do for work?
I'm not going to disclose that. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. Black people make, I don't remember the exact amount, but I know it's less than their white counterpart.
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's say somebody's making $30 an hour doing something. And that's the white person. The black person is not going to get paid the same amount.
I have anecdotal evidence on that. I was in a marketing position as a marketing executive, and I kind of shared the role with someone from Sri Lanka. Awesome dude. But the manager above us let slip his pay rate to me, and I was able to use that to increase my pay rate even more. So, I mean, eventually I ended up telling the dude how much I was earning. So, like, he could get his advantage in the negotiations. But, like, I just thought, that's telling. They're just letting this dude work the same thing as me. But I think maybe because of race, they just paid him less. Like, that really shitted me off.
Race and gender are the two biggest ones that cause pay gaps. So like the totem pole is white men, white women, black men. Then you have black women all the way at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to pay gap. Because they have their skin color and their gender, which is, for some reason, the pay gap is not equal. The pay wage is not equal amongst groups. And that is why black people do have prejudice towards white people, because they are so strongly oppressed in many aspects.
Oh my God, just imagine, is this all going to be semi-redundant with AI, you know? Is everybody going to have no jobs in a couple of months?
AI is definitely fuck off.
Oh, Fubar?
But that is, I said fuck all.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Fubar.
No, fuck all.
Effed
but
up
no,
beyond repair.
Yeah. That is why I said, like, oppression. There's a reason why that ism is there. Whereas with prejudice, it's a disdain towards a certain group, especially towards the group that does oppress you.
If in my little thing that I drew, like oppression results in racism, and I'm on board with that. And then if we have prejudice, and what would you think about prejudice possibly resulting as individual racism?
Individual, I would have to look more into the thing with individual racism. I do think that individual disdain is extremely possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I I personally, in my opinion, do not think that black people can be racist towards white people, and that's coming from me being a white person myself. I think they can have a very strong disdain towards white people, but again, it would be like if a certain group of people have oppressed you for centuries, you're going to have that strong disdain towards that certain group of people. Let's say you
That's
were
understandable.
let's say you were oppressed.
Okay.
Like, you've been oppressed by the people in the TrustButVerify server, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you have a strong disdain towards the people in the TrustButVerify server, right?
Yep.
But you're not going about and oppressing them.
I don't think so.
And that's, now put it in like a separate aspect, okay? Flip the script and put it in the aspect of like black people versus white people. Okay?
Okay.
We oppressed the black people for centuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like you were oppressed in the TrustButVerify server.
Mm-hmm.
You have a strong disdain towards the people in the TrustButVerify server, just like black people have a disdain towards white people.
Mm-hmm.
Can they oppress you?
The TrustButVerify server oppressing me?
Sorry, words. Hang on a second. Can you oppress the TrustButVerify server?
I don't think so.
Can black people oppress white people?
I would say no.
There
Okay.
we go. We're there because you said you can't be oppressed, like you don't hold any of the power in the server,
and
right? You can't mod, you can't block, you can't mute. You can't oppress them because you don't hold any power. All you can
that
do
is
is have some
correct.
disdain.
The thing. Let me kind of just slightly tweak the hypothetical. Obviously, there's reasons why I actually have disdain for the TrustButVerify server, and I think I've spelled that out pretty clear here. But hypothetically, let's say that those reasons were not true, and the only disdain that I had, the only reason was angry at that server was just because of race. Then I would say I'm racist.
But
right?
with black people, they are still oppressed.
Yeah,
and
I'm
that
agreeing
is
with
why
you.
they are still oppressed. Just like you're still technically oppressed in the TrustButVerify server.
Okay.
You have a strong disdain towards them because you're being oppressed. Let's just hypothetically say that's the only reason, is because you're being
Okay.
oppressed.
Okay.
And not because of all this information that came out. Black people are still being oppressed, and they have been oppressed for centuries. That oppression has been for centuries, right?
Yes.
So their disdain, the more they are oppressed, is climbing the more and more they're oppressed. Would you have ever found this information out if you had not been oppressed or kicked to the side by the TrustButVerify server?
Oh, no, no, I probably would have abandoned it
This
and never
is,
thought about it ever again.
you're an amazing communicator, Ace.
Thank you.
That's really awesome how you're just like, like drawing you drew the parallels for me, and now you're drawing the parallels with yours. You're an amazing communicator.
Yeah, I think, no, I will have to get going soon, just FYI. Um, but I do want to say, like, I think we've gotten closer here. I think I would, perhaps at the beginning of this live, I may have said that that definition, the definition that you use for racism, I would almost call that invalid. But I suppose now that I've listened, I would say that that's a valid definition. I wouldn't say that that's the only
It may
valid
not be
definition.
it may not be the only valid definition,
Mhm.
but that is what the definition for the majority is, especially
Okay.
amongst the darker melatonin community, which is why the racism versus the systematic racism thing did piss off quite a few people
Yeah.
because of the difference in first of all, the difference between your definition and their definition, and because it is more considered prejudice amongst a larger majority of the community, because like with women, we get oppressed because of our gender. Men, they experience prejudice, but do you see how men like playing the victim?
Sure. Yeah.
Um, it's about the same with the racism versus prejudice.
Yeah, I
Oh,
see that angle. Um, I
yes.
Whoa, like
recognize
white
that.
people play the victim sometimes
Yes.
because we don't understand what it actually is to be the victim.
Let's put it more closely towards the conversation that is at hand. Trust but verify. He is oppressed by his color, right? He would be oppressed by
Hmm.
his color.
Yep. Yep.
He is still playing the victim over the fact of the charge, right?
Hmm.
Would we let that, would we call that racism or would we call that prejudice? Prejudice.
Over the charge type thing.
Yes. Would we say that you bringing this
Oh,
up is racist or prejudice?
well, it's not racist. It's got nothing to do with race. So it's not
Exactly.
racist. Um, I don't. I'm not
It
sure
is.
if I'd call it. What I guess prejudice would be. Yeah, I guess.
Would you have ever searched for this? Would you have ever found this if you did not have a strong disdain towards the Trust But Verify community for how they acted towards that threat?
No, no, I would have never found out.
Exactly. Because you had a prejudice towards the community due to the fact
Hmm.
of the way they handled the threat. That is what started your whole channel, is this whole channel, right?
Yeah. Huh. Are you defining prejudice as more like a what's the right word? I
Is
had
a,
it. Was that
is a strong disdain towards an individual or community
okay?
based on things that have happened.
Okay. Disdain as in a feeling?
Yes.
Internal? Okay.
Like black people have a strong disdain towards white people because of how white people have treated them. You have a strong disdain towards the Trust But Verify server and community because of how they treated you.
Okay.
Is that making sense for you?
Yeah, I think that part definitely makes sense. Yes.
Okay.
I just want to bring back to kind of a beautiful moment we had just a moment ago. We both kind of agreed that the definition that we use might not be the only definition, and I just want to recognize that I think that's great.
Oh yeah,
Um,
there's many definitions for words.
yeah, of course.
I
And
also want
And
to applaud Pierce for not being defensive in this kind of thought experiment and, this discussion. I think in your position, a lot of people would become defensive. So it
thank
also
you.
goes to Ace's communication as well.
Yeah, absolutely. She's doing amazing.
But yeah, you're very patient and non-defensive, and it just makes
Yeah,
it so interesting. Thank you, Pierce.
thank you. I try to separate out ideas from people. Like I can disagree with Ace, and that's fine. But that doesn't take away from who she is, you know. Um, I mean, obviously some ideas cross the line, but this is not one of those situations at all, obviously. Um, in Ace, one thing that I picked up on is like you thought that you believe that your the definition that you use is the most popular, and me on my side, I'm thinking that my definition is more popular. So I just think
if
that's
you
kind of
look
funny.
through it, you'll notice that the definition you use is used by a lot of white men.
Okay.
Whereas the definition I used is specifically like towards what a lot of oppressed people would use.
That's interesting. I, 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 s- I- I have no data on that. Absolutely none. Just based off pure speculation, I would be skeptical. Um, but yeah, I would want I want to do a test now. I want to survey people. I don't know how to do that, but I want to do that, and I think it would be really interesting to find results on that.
I'm glad this conversation could be so fruitful.
Awesome. And on that
Um,
note, I really need to get to bed so I'm not a zombie tomorrow. It's really late.
okay. Have a
But
good night.
yeah, you too. Thank you, Ace. Thank you, Vintage. This has been
Thank
awesome.
you.
This has been great. I love it. All right.
Everybody
I'm
loved
gonna.
it.
Everybody loved it. All right. On that
Thank you,
note,
you too.
I'll end the live. It's been awesome. Peace out.
Peace out.